My name's Jeffrey Brickley. I'm a computer programmer out at White Sands Missile Range. I grew up through sixth grade in Albuquerque, and my family moved to Grants, New Mexico, and I graduated from Grants High School there. Well, the Albuquerque, I grew up in one of the very poor areas in the valley. My mother had to live with my uh, her parents still, even when I was very young, and I was somewhat of a latchkey child. So I walked myself to elementary school every day. And I so I learned a lot of independence, even as a child, and I took that forward in a lot of what I did in life. I taught myself how to ride a bicycle. I taught myself a lot of things in my professional life. Um, so everything moved forward in a lot of that progression. And moving to Grants, my uh, mother was then teaching at the uh, uh, in that city. So now she had an income finally, and we were a little bit better off. So uh, I ran a paper route. I was still independent, still somewhat of a individualist, and I fought the um, school system to add higher level math classes to provide some of the direction that I saw I wanted and what I needed in life to go forward into college. So I was still pushing for what I saw that I wanted to do in life. Interestingly enough, there's an oddity there. Both in back to elementary school and high school, I took some art classes, which my family didn't want me to take. I have always enjoyed art. It was somewhat relaxing. So there was the math side, which I saw I needed in life, and that was something that was kind of a career positive direction. Um, and there was the art, which was more of my personal choice. And when finally chose a career as a computer programmer, I now do advanced graphics. In a small way, I found a solution that actually merged the mathematics and the art that I enjoyed so much uh, into one career. So, what seemed like two different directions actually turned out to be one direction. For the most part, it's writing rather sophisticated uh, commands for a computer, which turns into both computation and graphics commands. I basically teach a computer to do something much like computer games that has more realistic tone to it. Um, I do not play games for the most part. The last game I played was a Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think 10 or 11 years ago. I want more realism. So, what I see in graphic systems is something that uh, I want to bring uh, just uh, more computer graphics closer to reality. I actually started off with just a certification. Um, there, uh, I kind of transferred over from just doing user interface programming, general computer programming, into graphics programming. And that was strictly with a certification that I knew how to do programming. That was a vocational certificate. So there was no degree. I originally dropped out of uh, the University of New Mexico uh, a long time ago, and my company paid for me to go back and get my bachelor's degree, which I was very happy to go back and get my bachelor's degree. And I now have my bachelor's. So that has helped me to increase my capability and um, add a lot more capability to the programming that I do day to day. Probably doing the same thing that I do, but with a larger scale to technology. Um, I've advanced what the the capabilities of what we do several times before, and I'll probably do so maybe once or twice again. So hopefully, if I'm lucky, um, and I always like to have new things to work on, new technologies to work with, and new challenges to solve. So hopefully in 5 years, there's still new challenges that I'm able to uh, work with and new technologies that I am still capable of solving. So, I think the biggest thing is don't give up, especially when when I originally wanted to keep my art going. Uh, I hit it in elementary school, and in high school, I m- didn't quite hide it quite as well, but it was frowned upon that it was more or less useless as a career, and I took it anyway, and I found the gaps in my high school curriculum that says, well, these are optional courses. So there was room to fit it in. And I still found a way to take those courses and fit it into my career because I found a way to meld it into my future. Those were still part of what I wanted to do. It wasn't just that it was a hobby, it was part of what I wanted to always carry with me. So don't give up, keep it with you.